Alright, so Battlefield 1 has been out for well over a month now. As a matter of fact, almost 2 months. And during that time, I have learned a lot about Battlefield. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you some of the tips that I've learned over the past couple months. Now quickly, before we get started, there are a couple things I do want to mention. The tips I'm going to be going over in this video are more or less for beginners. Also, if you know of any other really good tips that I don't mention in this video, be sure to leave them in the comments below, and if it's a really good tip, I will include that comment in the next tips and tricks video. Also, don't forget to leave a like, share, favorite, or a comment if you found this video useful. Alright, so these are in no particular order, but the first couple of tips that I'm going to go over are in regards to the bomber plane. The first thing that I wanted to point out is that there is a camera you can use when you're in the bomb site view. I'm not sure what it is on PC, but if you're on console, all you have to do is just press the left arrow and it'll take a picture of the ground below, spotting all of the enemies who are in that picture, which not only makes it a little bit easier to know where to drop your bombs when you're on the plane, but it also makes it easier for teammates who are on the ground. And since we're talking about the bomber plane, there is another tip that I wanted to point out. Whenever you drop your bombs, you can follow the path of your bombs by holding down the fire button, which I will go ahead and show an example of right now. So yeah, if you're using a bomber plane, don't forget to spot the enemies by using your bomb sight camera, and don't forget you can also track the path of your bombs by holding down the fire button. The next tip I wanted to go over is in regards to melee weapons. And if you look towards the right of the screen below the stats of each melee weapon, you'll see three options that say break wire, break wood, and damage light vehicle. And if any of these three options are highlighted, that means that melee weapon has the ability to perform that function. So as you can see right here, none of the first 7 weapons have any of those three abilities, but the spiked club can break wood and damage light vehicles. The trench mace can break wood. The Bartek bludgeon can break wood and damage light vehicles. And the hatchet can also break wood as well as break barbed wire. The pickaxe can break wood and damage light vehicles. And the shovel doesn't have any of those abilities. So that was another thing I wanted to point out. Some melee weapons have extra abilities. Alright, so this next tip has to do with the cavalry. And I'm not sure many of y'all know this, but you can wear the gas mask while riding the horse, which I would strongly recommend you do. As soon as you get on the horse, just go ahead and put on your mask, because obviously if you run through gas grenades without a mask on, it's gonna take away some of your health. So as soon as you get on that horse, just go ahead and put your mask on. And another thing that I noticed is that you can't put on your mask when you're running at full speed. You can put your mask on and off if you're standing still or moving at a slow pace, but if you're running at full speed, you will not be able to put your mask on. So that's another tip that I wanted to share. Whenever you get on your cavalry, make sure the first thing you do is put your gas mask on. Alright, so the next tip that I wanted to go over was in regards to picking up other people's dynamite and tripwires. And as you can see right here, not only can you pick up your teammates' dynamite, but you can also pick up the enemy's dynamite as well. Assuming, of course, they don't blow you up before you get a chance to. Now, in order to pick up somebody else's dynamite, I believe you do have to play as an assault class. And the same thing is true for tripwires. If you want to pick up someone else's tripwire, you're going to have to be playing as the scout class. Now, we didn't test this out ourselves, but I also believe that you can pick up other people's AT mines as well. But again, that is class specific. So if you want to pick up dynamites or AT mines, you're going to have to play as the assault. And if you want to pick up trip mines, you're going to have to play as the scout class. Also, for those who are wondering how the tripwire works, the wire is going to be going in the direction that you're facing when you place down the trip bomb. So in this example, you can see my friend placing down his trip bomb, and you can see the wire going in the direction that he was facing when he planted it. Now, this next tip is in regards to the medic class. Obviously, for those who don't know, you can not only heal your teammates, but you can also revive them after they die by using the syringe. But what you may not know is when you go to revive a dead teammate, you can tell whether that teammate is going to skip and redeploy by looking at the skull that's above his dead body. If that white skull is pulsating, that means he's holding down the skip button, which means he's going to end up redeploying. Make sure you keep that in mind when you're playing as the medic class. If you see somebody who's dead and it might be kind of dangerous to go revive them, take a look at the skull that's above their dead body. If it's pulsating, that means that they're holding down the skip button and they're going to be redeploying. So you may not want to put yourself in danger when you see that skull pulsating. But if it's not pulsating, that means they are indeed waiting for a revive. And if it's clear, go ahead and revive them. Alright, so this next tip is in regard to switching classes. And I'm sure most people already know about this, but I did want to include it for those who don't know. Whenever you kill someone, they drop their loadout on the ground and you can pick up that loadout and use it to your advantage. So as you can see in the video, I was playing as a scout class and I didn't have a lot of health, and I saw right in front of me a medic class that was laying on the ground. So what I did was I picked up that medic class, I then dropped the medic crate, and then I picked up my scout class again, and that way I was able to heal myself even though I was playing as a scout class. And you can also do the same thing with ammo if you see a support class laying on the ground. Alright, so this next tip is for squad leaders. Alright, now as I'm sure most of y'all know, when you're playing as a squad leader, you can give orders to the people in your squad. And that's a really good way to get some extra XP. Whenever your teammates follow through on those orders, whether it's attacking a certain objective or defending it, you will get extra XP. But what you may not know is when you're given those orders and you're going to select the objective, if you look directly below the objective you're going to select, you'll see a number. And that number basically represents how many other squad leaders gave their squad the order to attack that objective. So as you can see in this example, both the A and B objectives both have the number 2 directly below them, which means that there are 2 squads going for A and there are 2 other squads that are going for B. And that's really useful when you're trying to figure out which objective you want to attack or defend. Now this next tip is another tip I have a feeling most people already know about, but whenever you and enemies are on the same objective, you'll see a little meter in the top middle part of your screen. And that meter is going to be located above the objective, again, in the top middle of your screen. So in this example, you can see I'm trying to cap A with another teammate, and directly above the A flag, you'll see the little meter that has like 1/3 of it filled with blue and 2/3 filled with red. And basically that means you have about twice as many enemies on that same flag as you do teammates. I believe there was one other teammate on the flag with me. So with that being said, there was probably around 4 to 6 enemies on the flag with me and my teammate. Now, if you were the only person on your team on the flag, then that would mean there was probably 2 other enemies on the flag with you. So whenever you're capping an objective, you definitely want to pay attention to that meter that's in the top middle portion of your screen. Alright, so this next tip is in regards to the kill log, or as some like to call it, the kill feed. It seems like every other day on the forums I'm seeing someone ask, how do you turn on the kill feed? So I'm going to go ahead and show y'all how to do it right now. Basically all you have to do is press start, then go to options, and once you get the options you're going to want to go to gameplay, and then scroll down till you see the option that says kill log, and you'll see 2 options. One says hide, one says show, and that's how you turn on your kill feed. Another thing I wanted to point out in regards to the kill feed is that you can filter it out. If you go to the kill log filter, which is directly below the kill log, you'll see the options that allow you to show everyone's kills, including the enemies. You also have the option to show only the teammates' kills. You have another option that shows only squad kills, and another option that'll only show your kills, and the last option is to show the kills of everyone who's nearby. So yeah, that's how you turn on your kill feed, and that's how you filter it. Alright, so those are my 10 tips and tricks I feel like you need to know if you're going to be playing Battlefield 1. But there is one more tip I wanted to share with you all before I go, and that's in regards to the behemoth and how to do damage to them. And I got this from Reddit, which I'll leave a link to in the description if you want to go check it out for yourself. But when it comes to the armored train, you're going to want to shoot the turrets first. Every time you destroy a turret, it loses a good amount of health. And you can also use your AT rockets, field guns, and tanks to take out those turrets. And if you focus on the turrets, you should be able to take out the train fairly quickly. Now, the dreadnought is probably the hardest behemoth to destroy, mainly because it can stay far away from the battlefield and it has some pretty strong defense as well. But basically when it comes to the dreadnought, it has about 6 to 8 different parts or sections that can be destroyed on both the left and the right side of the ship. And each of those parts or sections is about 20 meters long. And basically what you want to do is you want to try to shoot at least 2 torpedoes at each of those sections, because normally it takes about 2 torpedoes to destroy each section. And obviously every time you destroy a part or section, you're going to be taking away a lot of health from the dreadnought. So the rule of thumb is to not shoot at any spot that is already on fire. Try to aim your torpedoes at parts of the ship that haven't been destroyed yet. And the ship should sink when roughly 75 to 90% of the parts are destroyed. Now when it comes to the airship, destroying gondolas will deal a good amount of damage, but you also want to try to destroy different sections of the airship like you do with the dreadnought, and you want to ignore any sections that are already on fire or burning and just focus primarily on sections that haven't been destroyed yet. Also keep in mind that gondolas will respawn after a certain amount of time, in which case you can start aiming at them again to do more damage. Anyways, that pretty much sums up all the tips and tricks I wanted to share with you all. Again, if y'all know of any tips that I didn't mention, be sure to leave them in the comments below. And big shout out to Belsybub for helping out with this video. Also, if y'all enjoyed the video or found it useful in any way, don't forget to do what you do. I'm A1. Thanks for watching. Damn.
I'm spare!
I'm about to kill your team.
Why? They haven't done it. Like,
In the ass. You're gonna watch it.
oh no.
Watch me kill your teammate.
Oh, you got a tank behind you. Holy crap. He's like, look on me. Oh god.
Bastard.
Oh.
Alright, we did it, Belsy. We did it.
Yay. Oh shit.